Hello and welcome back to another video on the Football Zone and to a weekend previewing Carabao Cup, Premier League and Championship actions. Let's get straight into it with the Carabao Cup. It's the final, Liverpool v Chelsea, Sunday 4:30, and yeah, I can't wait for this one. I'm expecting full strength sides for both sides, even Klopp in the Carabao Cup, finally. And yeah, if you're just looking at the two squads at the moment, I just think Liverpool are in a much better shape, in much better form than Chelsea, and for me that's make it favourites. In a cup final though, anything can happen, but I fancy Liverpool in this one. I'm going to say 1-0, should be a close one though. Moving on then to the Premier League on Friday night football, kind of a bit of an uninspiring game, sorry Southampton and Norwich fans, but it kind of is for the neutral, as they take each other on. But yeah, for Southampton, they're on a decent little run at the moment, really progressing forward, intense pace. Norwich, they've kind of had a bit of a revival, it kind of seems to be fading a tiny bit now, but yeah, they really do need a win here to keep the pressure on with the other teams around them rapidly improving. But yeah, I fancy Southampton with a solid run they're on at the moment to pick up the victory. I'm going to say 2-0 to the Saints. Moving on then, Leeds take on Tottenham in a big game for both sides. Tottenham, yeah, their top four hopes are rapidly fading away now, aren't they? 7 points off Manchester United, and 3 points off Arsenal, and Arsenal have a game in hand. So yeah, it's not looking good for Tottenham at all, really, is it? And yeah, Leeds as well, they just keep getting thrashed at the moment, really, don't they? And the relegation zone is really coming out close with teams around them improving. So it's a must win for both, and I think Spurs will just about nick it, but it's a game that could go either way with both teams low on confidence probably at the moment. Moving on then, Brentford take on Newcastle at the Brentford Community Stadium, and yeah, this is a huge game for both sides. Obviously Newcastle really improved form at the moment, pulling away from the relegation zone, but Brentford, they're only 4 points above the drop and really getting sucked into it, especially when they've played 3 more games than the likes of Burnley, etc, etc. So they're right in the mix now, really. So it's a big game for both these sides, and I think Newcastle, just on better form at the moment, will be favourites here. I'm going to say 1-0 to them. Moving on then, Palace take on Burnley at Selhurst Park. Palace, yeah, they'll come into this one with lots of confidence after that 4-1 thrashing of Watford in the week. Burnley as well with a 1-0 win over Tottenham. But yeah, if you just look down the sides, I think just like Palace have that bit of extra quality compared to Burnley, and I think they are favourites here. But you know, Burnley probably do need to win more, so it could go either way. But I fancy Palace in this one. I'm going to say 1-0. To the Seagulls. Moving on then, Brighton, Aston Villa, and yeah, Brighton, they come into this one doing pretty well at the moment, in ninth in the table. Villa kind of just dropping off slightly in 13th after a solid first run on Steve Gerrard, but you know, I don't expect them to be in any real relegation danger, to be quite honest. But you never know, really, in this league, do you? But yeah, Brighton at home, I think they're probably slight favourites for this one to continue their pretty solid run of form. I'm going to say 1-0. But yeah, game that could go either way. Moving on then to Old Trafford, and Manchester United host Watford. And yeah, you could kind of say that the top 4 races coming down to United and Arsenal. Arsenal three games in hand in United, and 4 points from behind them. United need to stop dropping points in silly games, really. That's United's issue, and this is definitely one of those ones. Watford, yeah, let's face it, just average under Roy Hodgson. Really expecting more from them. This is a must-win for United, and I think they will do. We'll get the win here comes. I'll say 3-0. Moving on then to another must-win game, and that is for Manchester City. Who'd have thought that a few weeks ago against an Everton side who also need it, because they're now right in the thick of the relegation scrap. With all the teams converging around them. So yeah, but for City, Liverpool 3 points behind them. They played the same number of games. Who saw that coming a few weeks ago? So yeah, this is definitely a must-win game for City, with Liverpool not playing as well to really pile on the pressure. I'm going to say the scoreline will be 2-0 to the Citizens. Moving on then to the final Premier League game of the weekend, West Ham against Wolves. And yeah, both teams are competing for Europe. Who'd have thought that at the beginning of the season? Both teams, yeah, doing really, really well. And Wolves, yeah, they're just on such a good run. You'd be brave not to bet against them here, but yeah, you just feel like West Ham at home, I don't know, I just feel like they still got that extra little bit in the squad compared to Wolves, and I think it will be a close game, but I can see a home win in this one. I'm going to say 1-0, but yeah, could go either way. Moving on then to the Championship, and a huge game at the top. Blackburn QPR. A few weeks ago we thought this could be a shootout for one of the automatic promotion places after Fulham. But yeah, it just hasn't gone both teams' way recently. Hopefully QPR can start to revive after that 2-1 win over Blackpool with the 10 minutes, etc. last time out. But Blackburn, not on a great run of form, and they need to recover it quickly. But I just feel like this could be a game where it's tense and scrappy, neither team wants to lose, and I feel like it could end up being a drum 0-0 on the telly. Moving on then to Peterborough versus Hull. At the time of recording, Grant McCann hasn't been appointed Peterborough manager, but all the signs are, and yeah, isn't it just ironic that presumably his first game in charge will be against the team who's just sacked him, Hull. And Hull, yeah, they kind of are on a really bad run of form at the moment. And if Derby get an increase in results, could really be sucked into the relegation battle, as well as Peterborough, obviously. But yeah, I think Peterborough will get a huge win, and Grant McCann will get one over in his old team. Moving on then, Barnsley take on Middlesbrough at Oakwell. And Barnsley, maybe they're not out of the relegation battle either. 2 wins out of their last 3, really stepping it up. Probably too little too late, but you never ever know in this division. Against the Middlesbrough side that are rapidly on the up as well, under Chris Wilder. So yeah, you do feel like, looking on two sides on paper, that Borough probably will have more quality, and I think they will get the win. I'm going to say 2-0. Moving on then to Birmingham against Huddersfield, and Birmingham, they come into this one off the back of the defeat to Reading, and not in great form at all really. Against the Huddersfield side, they're just flying high. That incredible comeback against Cardiff last time out, so they'll come into this one full of confidence, and favourites to pick up another win, you'd probably say here, against the Birmingham side that are probably struggling quite a lot relatively at the moment. So I'm going to say the scoreline will be 2-0 to Huddersfield in this one. Moving on then to Cardiff against Fulham, and you'd probably say Fulham the favourites here. Obviously, Cardiff have seen an upturn in results recently, but I kind of feel like that collapse against Huddersfield last time out could be a killer. And Fulham, they recovered from their defeat to Huddersfield pretty well, so hopefully Cardiff can do the same. But just look at the golfing quality really between Cardiff and Fulham. That's probably part of the reason why. And I can see Fulham picking up the victory here. I'm going to say 2-0. Moving on then to Millwall versus Sheffield United at the Den. And Millwall, getting a solid 2-1 win away against Derby. We know it's a tough place to go. And Sheffield United, in 6th place in the playoffs, looking good at the moment. Utterly flying under Paul Heckingbottom really. This is a game which is hard to predict, because Millwall have been improving recently. So you do feel they could go either way. But I just feel like the Blaze are in such good nick. I think they can get the win here. I'm going to say 1-0. Moving on then to Bloomfield Road, where Blackpool host Reading. And this is an interesting one. Blackpool still going pretty okay at the moment. Slaughtering around lower mid-table, or just mid-table really, 15th place. Against the Reading side that's 7 points from the last time. Remarkable turnaround. Paul Ince is in charge. Got off to a winning start. He'll be hoping to continue it and just edge further and further away from the relegation zone. They've got quite a healthy margin, but I think they can pick up a draw here. I don't think they'll be able to win it, but I think they will get a point. Blackpool, tough place to go. Moving on then, Coventry take on Preston at the Coventry Building Society Arena, or the Rico Arena. And Coventry, they're in 9th place. Definitely had a bit of a downturn in form, but have gone up recently, so they'll be coming into this one full of confidence against the Preston side, which got a solid point away at home to Forest last time out, covering from that defeat to Reading. Kind of a bit of inconsistency setting in under Lowy maybe, but I fancy another draw here. I'm going to say 1 apiece. Moving on then, Luton take on Derby in what probably is a must-win game for both of these sides really. Derby 8 points adrift now. They really do need to start picking up some victories, and Luton they're just on an absolute roll really, aren't they, in the battles against the playoffs, and they're right now with the likes of Middlesbrough, Sheffield United, etc, and they've got a great chance of getting into the playoffs. What a story that would be. With the form they're on, I'm probably backing them in this one. I'm going to say 1-0 to Luton. Moving on then, Forest take on Bristol City at the City Ground, and for me, Forest have to be considered favourites for this one. Disappointing performance last time out against Preston, but I'd back Steve Cooper with the spell he's had at Forest so far to bounce back. Bristol City as well tend to be picking up their points recently at home, so yeah, for many of those reasons, Forest need it more as well in the playoff race. I'm just going for a Forest victory here, to be honest. And yeah, Bournemouth take on Stoke at the Vitality Stadium, and yeah, Bournemouth they've got a comfortable margin in second place at the moment. Really don't know when you factor in games in hand, etc, etc. So they'll be coming to this one full of confidence. And Stoke, yeah, not in the greatest run of form. So yeah, this should be a comfortable home victory, but you never know in the Championship. But I am going to go for a home victory and a comfortable one at that. I'll say 2-0. Moving on then to the last game and Monday Night Football. Steve Bruce's West Brom take on Russell Martin's Swansea. Thought I'd just say both. And surely this is a game where Steve Bruce gets his first win as West Brom manager. If it doesn't come here, I don't know when it will. Swansea just on atrocious form recently. And yeah, it's not looking great for them at all, really. And West Brom, I think the playoffs are already gone, but they just need a win, really, just to stop the rot. I'm going to say 1-0 to the Baggies. But anyway, guys, that's it for you. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, move what's coming down. Following us with things script for daily football news. Subscribe to the channel, screen right now. It'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.